Well, 100 episodes of a series of videos all about the secrets of the XK8, XKR, X100. Something I started on a bit of a whim to share 2 or 3 secrets I kept being asked about when people met up with me at little social gatherings and shows and realised I had one of these. And I never thought that it would run much beyond half a dozen episodes, but it has definitely been the most popular of the videos I've ever put together. And whilst the numbers of viewers have never been specifically important to me in terms of trying to make money, the show is not sponsored. And yes, I do get some income from the advertisements that YouTube put either end of the videos, and it's really appreciated and buys a few tools for me. It's not a business, it's purely a hobby. So how has this spun on to 100, and where do we go next? Well, let's start off with today's secret. The X100 series is, in anybody's eyes, a timeless beauty of a car. Styling is awesome, the details of its design are just ageless. It's a genuine classic. I genuinely think it's the true successor to the E-Type, and for me it's probably going to remain my favourite car for the rest of my life. I doubt anything that's more modern could grab me quite as much as this one could. One of the design elements that gives it such great styling is, as we all know, this is a pillarless car. That's plainly evident in my convertible, but if it was a coupe, you don't have frames on your windows. Now, if this is such a beautiful thing, why is it actually applied to so few vehicles? One of the reasons is it is not as robust a solution as to have the glass running inside a channel and have a frame on your windows. If you have a frame on your windows, you don't really have to guide the glass from below because it inevitably has to go into that one position. And as it's not as robust, and the contact between the glass and the seal here in this plane is really important to getting good sound insulation, reducing wind noise and keeping the weather out, as well as at the top here to make sure that it presses against the seal on the roof of the convertible or the upper part of the aperture on the coupe is super critical. Jaguar had to introduce adjustments into the mechanism because over time, and you'll note I've got something odd set up here, which is maybe a clue as to what we're going to do. Over time and slamming your door, these things start to move. Now, most people would believe that you've got to take off the door panel and get inside with the mechanism of the window in order to adjust the glass. But one of the secrets of the XK8 X100 is it was very thoughtfully incorporated into a couple of features as an access panel so that you can adjust the glass without dismantling the door card, cutting the membrane, going inside the door cavity itself. So I'm going to show you how to adjust that position of the glass in the plane of outboard, inboard, front and rear to get the perfect seal if yours has started to change over time. Mission 1, just open your door, and this is called the Puddle Light. And when the lights are on, the side lights are on, there's a red lens here, which means that the door is open and it shows to people coming up behind you in a vehicle that the door is open and they need to drive around it. The bottom is transparent and projects a really good pool of light onto the floor, hence puddle light, so you can see where you're about to step. Well, you've now got a beautiful view of me, but you're actually looking up into the roof of my garage, at the underside of the Puddle Light. And what you'll note is there is a hole, a rectangular hole in the Puddle Light. And you want to reach inside with a flat blade screwdriver. Where has it gone? You guys can see better than I can. There we go. Into there by about 5-6 millimeters, and stay close to this side, the red lens side. Push back towards the door. This releases the lens, and you can put your thumbnail behind the lens and pull straight down. The catch stays attached to the door. So here's the lens removed, and it's slid into place behind these two slideways, dovetails, whatever you want to call them. So when it's in position in the car, this slides straight up and down, but is prevented from coming down by the little catch we've just depressed. And that little catch is this thing. It's part of the moulding for the lamp holder with some foam behind it, and you squeeze it that way, which takes this barb out of contact with the lens, and the lens can slide straight down. Mission number 2 is to remove the speaker cover, and this grill comes off separate to the rest of the board. There are 2 screws that hold it in place, and if you feel along the bottom of the grill, you'll feel the heads. One is here, one is here. With the screws removed, put your fingers underneath and pull the grill forward at the bottom, so towards the interior if you like. And what you're trying to achieve is a pull out slightly, I'll say about 1 centimetre, and then you're looking to pull mainly in the down direction. There's a blade here. It's attached to the grill that's going to come out, and as you lift it, it unhooks. And you can see on the back this plastic hook that goes through a hole or slot in the card, and another one goes here. And this top edge of the speaker grill is also tucked behind the card. So you're kind of pulling it out to get this shoulder out of the hole, pull it out, and then it's a downward movement to finally remove it. Go to the Puddle Light area and look through the round hole. You'll see a black cap head or hex drive fitting, flush recessed with the body panel. We go to our speaker area, then rather more obviously in the bottom right hand corner we have the same black recessed flush hex drive fitting. Now these fittings are positioned such that you can put the Allen key in them, and then you can still close the door and adjust these from inside the car. And all of that brings us rather neatly to this weird arrangement I've set up in my car. So I'm now going to shut my door. There we go. I've set this telescopic mount to touch the glass at the top. We're looking straight down on top of the glass. You can probably see my feet. I'm stood in the rear footwell of the car. If I put this so you can see a small gap there, that gap is about 1.5 millimeters for scale. You may be seeing it slightly different just because of the angle on camera. But then, using the Allen key in the screw that we've just described, I'm going to turn it clockwise. Here we go. 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turns. And what you should see is the gap has disappeared. If I now open it back up, 3 turns, undo, or left turn, 1, 2, 3 turns. And there's our gap back again. If I continue anti-clockwise, 1, 2, 3, you can see that the gap has increased. And 3 turns on the Allen key will make a move of around 1.5 mm at the top corner of the glass. Now in the example I've just shown, I was adjusting just the back edge of the glass, whilst the front edge of the glass was in firm contact with this seal. So the reality is, if your glass has come somewhat away from this seal, then unrestricted, the movement achieved by a single turn is probably larger. So you need to play around with it, use a bit of finesse, but as a real rough guide, I think that gives you an indication of the sorts of movements you get and just how easy it is, because this is not far off real time, even allowing for a little bit of editing, how long it takes to adjust your window glass. As I've said previously, I'm eternally grateful for all the fantastic support I get from subscribers to this channel. Your comments are so generous. I'm genuinely getting help and suggestions myself from those, and I've led on to friendships across other channels on YouTube and with individuals out there who I've never met, but I just feel like you're friends. And 100 episodes of Secrets of the XK8 I thought brought along a milestone that would be nice to mark with something different, something interesting that was, let's call it a giveaway. And so what I'm going to do is in 2 parts. The first part is connected with that picture. The second part will come along a little later, and that is I'm making an enhanced index of all of the XK8 secrets. I struggle to tell people where to look for the various secrets of the XK8. YouTube's an amazing thing, but it's not so good for sorting videos. Unless you recognize the thumbnail or the title has it in it, you've kind of got to work through to find things. There's already a 0 to 50 secrets index available via the website, and if you want one of those, go and have a look. The 0 to 100 will be a better version of that, and I'll get it out quite soon. On top of that, I thought, I know a very talented abstract artist, and if you live in the UK, you may even have seen his work because he is exhibited, and he's just known as J Artist. He's not somebody who craves the limelight personally, unlike myself. But very recently, he has started up a YouTube channel in which he doesn't appear, except for his hands, neither does his voice, just to share some of his techniques with other budding artists. And I know him rather well, and he was also a friend of my father. So I've approached Jay and commissioned him to do a painting which is inspired by the Jaguar XK8, but still in the abstract style for which he is famous. I now have that painting in my possession, and let's be clear, this is genuinely a one-off. We are talking about the original. There are no copies of it. There will never be any copies made of it. It's signed by Jay, and I will annotate it on the back with some stuff that gives it additional provenance and link it back to this event. And what I'm going to do is give that painting away to one of our subscribers. One of you guys is going to own that painting. It's not a competition. You've not got to send money to this address. You've not got to answer a question or anything like that. All you've got to do is let us know that you're interested in owning that painting. So here's a skinny, boys and girls. If you would like to own the artwork that I commissioned from Jay, then go to Jay's channel, Yo Too Can Do It, and subscribe to his channel to pay him a compliment. Then watch the video that it's called How to Paint a Jaguar, and below that video make a comment. That comment should be, I would like to own this painting, or very close or very similar. We're not looking for it must have this text in it. As long as it says that. Then on the date that we're going to put on screen right now, we will use a random number generator and we will record it happening so that you know where it's all above board. And whatever number that lands on, that is the comment number that we will find and track the owner and invite them to give us their details. Jay is going to waive his fee for painting that piece of art, which is amazing. I was prepared to pay a lot of money for that. It's hanging on my wall in my lounge right now. I will be sorry to see it go, but it's what I want to do. I will pay to have that properly packaged and sent anywhere in the world to whoever leaves that comment that we choose on the day. And when we're going to choose that is, and again, on screen right now, so we're under no doubt as to what we're talking about. Now, I also wanted to do something to mark the passing of my father. Most of you will know that I lost my dad last year, and it really hit me hard. He was genuinely my best friend and my hero. It's down to him that I have the personality I have. If you think I'm upbeat and enthusiastic, my dad was the undiluted version of that. He loved everybody. He saw the best in everybody and wanted to help everybody. He would be distraught to think that so many people were suffering so badly and indeed dying because of their address, where they live. Because of where they live, their lives are being destroyed. That's not right. Almost at exactly the same time, we lost my wife's dad, and Dennis, again, was a garage man. His kit car was a passion for the last 25 years. And if he could, he'd spend every waking moment polishing it or talking to people about it. Both our dads were people who enjoyed fixing things. And indeed, my garage now contains quite a lot of Dennis's tools, which I've gladly inherited. Thank you, Dennis. And that's why I know that both of them would have wanted to get involved in changing the situation for kids in Ukraine. They would want to try to help, they would want to try to fix this situation. And it's in their names that we'd like to raise some money for charity, for UNICEF particularly, to look after kids who have been so badly affected by this terrible situation in Ukraine. I'd like to make it very clear that if you would like to own the painting, then that's great. And that doesn't mean that you have to get involved with making a donation on the Just Giving page that I'm flashing up the link to right now and is in the description below. They are separate. And the funds that Just Giving site collects will go direct to UNICEF to help them with the work they're doing, looking after the children affected. Please don't feel obliged, but if you can afford a couple of pounds to contribute to that cause, it would mean a lot to me. I know it would have meant a lot to my dad. And I know it means a lot to Jay. And to that end, Jay has actually waived his fee for the painting to me. And I will post that painting to one of you anywhere in the world, packaged in an appropriate manner so that it actually gets to you safely. So if what's going on in Ukraine touches you, or you get any joy or enjoyment from this channel, or you just appreciate the fact that both Jay and myself are doing this out of our own pockets, then if you want to pay us a compliment, please send £1, whatever you can afford, to our Just Giving cause. I love you all dearly, and thank you for everything that you do for me, knowingly or otherwise. Let's wrap this video up on a slightly brighter note with maybe what's coming next. Those who watch every video will have seen I managed to damage my car. Put a big dent in here. It's creased to 3 places and has slightly damaged the paint. I'll be seeing what can be done by me to minimise that effect, and then considering whether I get a professional to finish it off. I've really been enjoying my wind deflector, which you'll have seen me fitting in a previous video. I really think it looks like it belongs with the car and enhances the experience of driving it. So I'm going to do a couple of road test type reviews showing the differences with and without it in ways that I hope you can appreciate. I'm going to do a couple more videos sharing the differences between sport trim, which is in my car, versus classic, and maybe a comparison. I've owned both styles. I'm certainly not anti one of them. What are my pros and cons? I've got plenty more secrets of the XK8 to film, probably not 100 more, but people keep sending me ideas, some of which can easily be turned into secrets of the XK8. Some of those are ideas that I can't demonstrate with Purdy, and that's because Purdy is very early, Purdy is actually low spec, so some of the features just aren't there to point at. So I may be teaming up with some other subscribers to be able to show you some secrets of the XK8 using their vehicles. I would actually consider my garage to be approaching perfect in terms of a DIY garage's layout and tooling setup. I never want to achieve a commercial setup because I'm not a commercial garage operator, but I think I am one evolution away from having it exactly as I want it. The early videos you'll have seen will show you just how far this garage has come, but I now feel that one more reorganise and refinement is going to bring me to that as good as it gets without spending a fortune position. Will we repaint and overcoat using the same stuff? Will we go for epoxy resin? Who can say? The Strongman lift is an amazing addition, and you know, right at the top end of most people's wish lists for a domestic garage. But I have a couple of mods and tweaks I'm going to do to make this even more useful. The nose cone will be coming off my car before too long because I am desperate to restore or improve the crash member, which is faded and you can see all the string in it and it really irritates me. But I don't necessarily want a mesh grille in front of it. Plus I need to change the way these number plates are positioned and mounted and Dr. the bunny's ears. So the whole nose is going to be coming off. Front and rear subframes may get lowered during this year, as in taken off, not lowered as in we're going to jack the car up. To do some refurbing and doing things like bushes. I'm still making my decision on original equipment bushes versus nylon or Nylatron bushes, and if you go nylon there's 2 different hardnesses, so still thinking about all that. I have obtained, with the help of a brilliant YouTuber, a accessory for the XK8. I genuinely believe it's the rarest accessory there is. I don't think there are many in existence at all. and I am actually pointing in a general direction where this accessory is going to fit as a clue, but I shall be very soon fitting that, having restored the accessory. So I've got to thank Jaguars in the Barn for that, Simon. If you're not already subscribed to Simon's channel, Jaguars in the Barn, you really should. Excellent, really good info on there. And hopefully I'll be able to bring you some more quite soon on my waist seals and how they were achieved, so that you can copy if you wish. So that's it for now, boys and girls, and I look forward to seeing you in a future episode of To The Garage real soon. Love you all. Bye. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.